This is an Abysmal GE Dehumidifier. Why is it Abysmal? This unit is about 2, maybe 3 years old, could be even less than that. Somebody gave this to my dad because it failed under warranty. They called GE up and they sent him a new one. This couldn't be more than 3 years old and it's dead already. It's on, it's running. We'll take a look at it here. It's a part. I don't know the model number. It was given to me without the covers. It's running. So I don't have a model number or any information. There's nothing behind the bucket there. Well, it so turns out my father decided to just email me this picture that he took of the label on it. And as you can see, it's a model ADEL 30LWQ1, and it has a date of manufacture of November 2018. So I really wasn't that far off. And this unit is 5 years old, not even 5 years old at the time of this recording. Still, everything else that you'll see in this video holds true. You can see that it does use R410A refrigerant in there, and the pressures on the high and low side and all of that. Curiously, the QR code has a black dot on it. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that was the picture that was taken there. Also, in case you're interested, here is the wiring diagram of it, which is just another picture that he took. And now let's get back to the video. You got your coil here. Here's the top panel. There's a thermistor in here to sense the temperature in case it needs to defrost or anything. We'll turn it around carefully while it's running. And you got all your electronica in here. Now there's going to be a lot of armchair engineers that say, I have one like this and it's the greatest thing, it works fantastic. Well, guess what? You're the minority. This thing is a piece of junk, as are all dehumidifiers today. They're all garbage. Why did this only last a year or two? What's wrong with it? We're getting into that. A couple interesting things to note. There's a couple of capacitors in here that are good. Here's a fan capacitor here, and for the compressor. Curiously, this is a 6 microfarad capacitor, and it looks to be exactly the kind that I needed when the capacitor for the fan in my garage air conditioner had failed. If I would have had this in time, I could have harvested that and used it. I don't know what the other capacitor is. I can't read it the way it's mounted. You got a circuit board in here. There's about 8 different connections on that. A lot of people say the circuit board will fail or the electronics will fail. Probably not. And that's what's going on here. This, obviously, the electronics are working. That's why it's running. Fan is in the back. It is amazingly well balanced. I'll spin it the other way. It's got wheels on it, so you can wheel it to the curb easier. You can attach a hose to it. Great. I don't know how many pints this is. There's another whole circuit board up top there. Everything is pretty nicely appointed, but that is the dinkiest little compressor I've ever seen. It's running, you hear it. It's certainly warm. This is warm. But the coil up here is not cold. That's because it is low on refrigerant. It leaked it out. And that's what's going to happen to all the modern dehumidifiers in very short order. These are built to fail. They charge an absolute premium for that. I think it's absolutely disgusting that that happens. Another interesting thing, it's nicely appointed in here. There's insulation on the pipes, but this insulation is really way too big for that. So I think what they do is they just have the same insulation and just use it to keep inventory costs low and stuff like that. Over here, this is where the factory fill was of refrigerant. What kind it takes, I can't tell you. I don't have the covers of the data information. Nothing. But only here, and right in this one coil, is it just barely cool. Not cold, and it's not making its way up. Over here, or on the other side at all, the back coils here, just barely warm. Nothing. This will sit and run all day and do absolutely nothing because it's already failed. Like I said, this failed under warranty. Kind of ridiculous if you ask me. If you need a new dehumidifier, you need an old dehumidifier. It actually just shut the compressor off for whatever reason. But that's fine, we can take the bucket out now. I don't know how many pints this is. It does have a really convenient handle, so you can throw it in the garbage easier. It's a total piece of junk. There's nothing to do here. And like I said, that's the whole thing. That's it. We'll turn it off. The fan is very well balanced. Nice squirrel cage blower. That should last for a while. But the whole unit is just total junk. There's nothing that can be done to fix it or anything. GE didn't even want it back because they're like, we're not fixing this crap. They know it's disposable. That should be a clue right there. Otherwise, they should say, oh, well, you know, ship it back to us. We'll pay the shipping and la-di-da, and they could refill it and resell it as like a refurbished one for $10 off. Something like that. There's a clip here for the thermistor on it, but we don't need that. In fact, I'll just toss it there. So that's well balanced. That's nice. That's it. It's just total junk and only a couple years old. You can see it looks pretty much brand new. Power it on. It beeps. That's a good sign. Can't read the screen. It says 35. But it doesn't want to do anything now. It's just a piece of crap. Let me unplug it, plug it back in. I don't think that'll do any good. It beeped again. That's great. That's helpful. Oh, now the fan runs. It's set to non-stop. Whether or not it will run non-stop or not, I don't know. Maybe the thermistor is too warm. Probably not. I have no idea, but it's just a total landfill filler is all it is. And when you look at it, it looks like everything was done right. Everything was soldered nicely. Everything was done up. It's well appointed. It's abysmally constructed with just snap together modular components, so it can be done on an assembly line real easy. Excuse me. You know, that's it. It's just absolutely abysmal all around. The bucket has a float. Let me get that. It's got a float in it here when it goes up. There's a little micro switch. It's that kind of plastic where if it hits hard concrete, it's probably going to shatter. I don't know if it's going to turn on again or not, but regardless, it's just a total piece of junk and a landfill filler, and that's all they're really good for these days. If you get one, you might want to see if the store you buy it from has an extended warranty and take advantage of that. But of course, read all the fine print, because sometimes there's either a deductible or some other catch of some kind, and this way at least you can get a replacement of some kind. But really your best option is to look for a vintage one online somewhere. There's plenty of different places you can find. Maybe even somebody in your neighborhood is trying to get rid of an old one they have. They say, oh, it's old and inefficient. Well, I don't know what kind of current this pulls, but quite frankly, I don't think it really matters if it doesn't fucking work. If this is going to pull 300 watts while running, and an old one pulls 700 watts, but pulls 3 times as much humidity out of the air, well, which one is more efficient? Obviously the older one. Yeah, it pulls more wattage, but if it's going to pull more water out of the air faster, because the coil is larger, why not? The compressor has restarted. Oh, goody. Wow. Maybe it'll do it this time, folks. Maybe it'll get cold and start taking humidity out of the air, and I'll tell you, it's got to be about 90,000% today. Oh, it's bad today. It's bad. But nope, just here, just barely cool, and that's all you get. Total piece of junk. Yep, just barely cool right there, and that's it. Now, could this be plugged? I don't know. It's possible. There's a lot of blue down in the bottom. I don't know if the camera sees it. It looks like it's almost corrosion of the copper. So maybe the dissimilarity in the metals to the sides of this is what caused it. I don't know, but they're all just made like total junk these days, and there's nothing more to say about it, really. It's just total garbage. Can we stall the fan without getting hurt? Yeah, we can. Does it throw an error code? Does the compressor get angry? No, the compressor doesn't get angry, because there's no refrigerant in there, so it's not getting cold. Nothing. They'll sit here and run all day and waste electricity because it's not going to do anything. And that's typically how you find them and find out they're dead. That was good. You leave it run 3-4 days, nothing more happens. That was a huge waste of electricity. That's efficient right there. It did nothing. Totally abysmal construction on dehumidifiers today, and air conditioners. I went through that also when I had to get an emergency one when my central air went out. If you have one that looks kind of like this and it's working, you are the minority, because it won't be working for long. Mark my words. They just can't make anything of decent quality anymore. And one of the main reasons for that is because people don't want to pay. Now, I understand everything in the world right now, and the prices, inflation, all that kind of stuff. I get that, but even before that, before COVID, before all of that, you go to Walmart, you buy the cheapest one. Hopefully you were smart and bought one that would take care of the amount of humidity you want to remove for the area. In other words, size it properly, but a lot of people don't even do that, and then are plagued with poor performance if it works at all, because people don't want to pay. So they said, all right, well, we got to make them cheaper. So they cheaped out on everything. And they cheaped out so much to the point where they don't even last. I'd say out of a new junker like this, if you can get 5 years out of it, that would be good. But it's not even going to last that long. The circuitry will be fine. You could sell the board out of it on eBay, make a few bucks. Maybe you find some sucker out there who thinks the circuit board is no good. You got the one there and the one in the top. You could sell those as working. You know, they don't need to know it doesn't get cold on yours. So there's that option. But other than that, it's just total junk. There's nothing more to say. Nothing more to do. It just is going to go and fill up the landfill like all the other modern appliances. So they made everything cheap, and they made them so cheap to the point where they're too cheap. And as much as I hate to tell you that, it's only getting worse. I just had to buy a car battery. It's for my classic car. It doesn't get driven much. If it started once every 3 weeks, once a month, that's probably a lot. So what do I need out of a battery? Just something that'll crank it over, right? I went to AutoZone. I bought the cheapest one they had, like most consumers would do. It fits it because there's tons of room under the hood. And absolutely, I took it back, hooked it up, it cranked it right up, no problem. But the warranty on that battery is 90 days. The battery was $90. $1 a day. And what happens on the 91st day? Sorry, no more. No warranty, no nothing. We can't give you money off a new one. It is what it is. Buy a better one next time. There are better ones. When I say better, typically it's a 1-year warranty. Wow. You know, maybe a 2-year if you get the really, really nice one. But they just make stuff such garbage today. Obviously, with batteries, there's nothing you can do. I can't show you this, but a dragonfly just landed on the camera. That's too bad, because it's pretty cool. He flew away. But anyway, that's the first time I ever had that happen. Yeah, just total garbage. This is going out to the curb, but I will save the 2 capacitors in it. Maybe the fan motor, we'll see. Short of that, there's nothing more to take. Take the boards out, maybe see if a friend of mine wants to sell them. I'll see if I can get a model number for this, but other than that, it's just total garbage and a landfill filler. Try to find vintage stuff if you can, because the state of consumer goods and appliances today, we're talking more in the air conditioner and dehumidifier and refrigerator area, more than like a stove or anything like that, is just absolutely abysmal. If your grandma had a dehumidifier or has one, and grandma doesn't use it anymore, get hers, because I guarantee it probably works. The worst you might need to do is oil the fan motor. But anyway, I think I rambled on long enough, and hopefully I made my point that these are junk. There's no way around it. It's just too bad. And I gave you a couple of options of what you might be able to do. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Oops. So that fell off. I was kind of off. This came out, but look, there's just plastic clips. It clips in. Maybe you can see, I don't know if the camera can show you, but all this green down there, that's corrosion. And that's where the refrigerant leak happened, somewhere in that neck of the woods. But it's all just snap together stuff total garbage all around.